Welcome to Between the Posts. Tommy Javor here, and this week I'm joined by our Div 7 expert, Tony Neill. Welcome, Tony.
Well, thank you very much, Tommy. Fantastic weekend of football once again. A lot to get through.
Yes, tell me, what have you been up to, mate?
Mate, people out there will be interested to see, especially the coaches. We've been doing a lot around the filming footy and also the stats, where you get the stats and the vision. We've got over 700 coaches Australia-wide using it with 1,500 events during the game. So we're doing a lot of promotion around what we can do with filming footy and the stats as well at the moment.
Beautifully done. I really enjoy getting into my stats every Sunday morning and having a look at the Division 1 stats. But today, one of the most interesting divisions, the way it's unfolding, is Division 7. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be deep diving into, my friend.
Well, we'll get the viewers to watch a bit later on when we go into our Division 7 wrap, because there's a little bit of quirkiness happening with the ladder, the way the league have organised it. And it's absolutely fantastic. And I know, Tommy, you're going to add to this, because it's so exciting for pretty much every club involved in Division 7. Talk about community football and involvement, and that's what Division 7 is all about.
It's progressive, it's quite brilliant by the league, and we'll have a real good look at that, because they've managed to find a way to engage all Div 7 clubs.
Fantastic.
Of course, there is plenty of stuff on today's show. Wouldn't be a show without the Division 1 report. Rebecca Northcott will be in for her Division 1 report. Of course, we'll have our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week this week coming from your Division 7. What else is on the show, Tony?
Well, of course, we have got the Division 7 wrap. We've got all the goals and the marks, Tommy. Don't we love this? And also,
What court?
what court?
All right. And some of Hugo's graphics have been nothing short of good. All right.
Is that a trick he does with it? I thought that was all real.
Yeah, even my daughters, you can't get it past them now.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. We'll be back with all that and much, much more on this week's edition of Between the Posts. Welcome to Between the Posts Division 1 report time, as we look at round 14 and into the future at round 15. And round 14 was a big one. There was some moving and shaking to be done. And we'll start at Harpersfield, where Golden Grove took on Port District and they got the chocolates. 13-8, 86. Port District 9-5, 59. Chief goal kickers were Pascoe with 4, Slater with 3 for the Kookaburras, whilst Gray and Batty kicked 2 for Port. Now, our player in footage is a man who I've received a lot of feedback about. I haven't given him enough love. I'm all about the big names, apparently. But it's number 13, Aidan Thatcher. And why wouldn't it be about him today? With 21 disposals, 81% efficiency, 9 marks and 6 spoils. His defensive actions are elite. Now, I've gone a little bit above and beyond. I've gone out and interviewed Mr. Aidan Thatcher as well, just to give those Thatcher fans more. His position is key defender. His footy hero is Stiffy Johncock. His best friends at Golden Grove are Mitch Payne, Dylan Wall and the Cav. But Lewis Johnson thinks he's his best friends. But don't worry, I asked the tough questions. What are your dog's name? Well, Levi the German Shepherd and Charlie the Cavoodle, whilst his favourite TV show is, of course, Between the Posts. Thanks, Thatch. Well done. You're a great defender and you've had a great game. Being a stream team game, there are a lot of prizes, and we'll start with Aidan Thatcher winning the Moseley Voucher Best Team Player Award. Well done. The Neo North Mouthguard Player of the Day, awarded by Phil Herden, was for Lachlan Pascoe for one of his 4 goals, whilst awarded the Best on Ground Belgravia, New Balance and Dartfish Beanie with the Archie Songs was the man they call the Wombat, Jake Pittman. I don't know why they call him the Wombat. I'm not going to speculate. I think I know why, but well done, Wombat. Okay, having a chat with Adam Jeffries this morning about the game. He was there commentating. It was Golden Grove by 14, 4, 6, and it was the last quarter where they got it done. 3 goals, 4 to a point. Port were very, very good, but Golden Grove just too good in the end. And it was actually the start of the game where Golden Grove set it up. Into the breeze, they kicked 5 straight goals, which was a huge effort and allowed them to have that quarter-time lead and then run over with the breeze in the final quarter. With those 5 goals into the breeze, interestingly enough, Adam said they only had 8 forward entries, whilst the ball lived in Port's area, 16 inside 50s, but they couldn't hit the scoreboard as well. And when they rebounded, Golden Grove were incredibly dangerous. Said it was a huge crowd, and it's just starting to come to fruition now that those close losses with Golden Grove, 5 losses by 8 points or less. We're a little bit unlucky, and they are a better team than maybe we've given them credit for. Let's have a look at some of the Dartfish stats, and I'm actually seeing a genuine pattern that has unfolded for me reading the Golden Grove stats every week. It's been really important. There's a slight change in their game plan, and it is paying dividends. So Golden Grove used to be a very, very high statting team. That tactic of being able to just chisel and chip the ball around in Div 2 and Div 3, teams couldn't stop it. In Div 1, that gets stopped because the defensive pressure and the frontal pressure is so good. So they've changed their game a little bit. Golden Grove, 292 disposals, Port 336. Inside 50s though, in favour of Port District by 14, 38 to 52, but it's the inside 50 percentage, 55% to 27% effectiveness. So Golden Grove now are taking the deeper entry, getting it locked in, making sure it's a high quality entry. The tackling, 80 to 59 in favour of Golden Grove, just shows the pressure they put to hunt the ball, and why there were so many turnovers for Port having 88 turnovers, Golden Grove 71. Some really interesting stats there that make some good reading and do tell us a lot about the game. Learn how you too can get all your game stats plus vision analysis in one easy-to-use platform. Just use Filming Footy Stats, powered by Dartfish. Let's look at some of the better players that didn't get in the votes. Joshy Harble, the boy from Lightsview, with 20 touches, was great for Golden Grove, along with Ingrid. Whilst for Port District, Gaffney of the Cooper variety, 33 touches. He's a great, wonderful defender. Melikata and Gray amongst the best. Okay, our Player of the Year votes now. 1 vote to Louis Sharrod. You probably sit there and go, 1 vote for a player in a losing team? Here's his stats. Brace yourself. Strap yourself in. 41 touches. What a game, Louis Sharrod. 9 marks and 6 tackles. Probably the complete game there in a losing effort. The Wombat, Jake Pittman, 27 touches, but wait for this one, 15 tackles. I had 15 tackles in 2016. All right, and that man, Aidan Thatcher, the Thatch, best on ground. This is huge, this game. It's basically, I believe, solidified Golden Grove's finals attempt now. They're probably going to play finals, almost certainly. They have the 7 wins they need. Port District fall out of the top 3 for the first time. And looking at Golden Grove's run home, it's Glenunga away, PAC at home, Shock away, Gullies at home. So you would suggest probably the 2 wins there, and that will certainly be enough to make sure they play finals. But this is Div 1, and you just wouldn't want to take any game too easy. On to our next game now, and it was at Payneham Oval. PNU, 9 goals, 10-64. Brighton, 6-13-49. That win, getting Payneham for the first time this year into the top 3. The man to have a look at is number 24 from PNU, Brad McKenzie. A beautiful user by foot, running off half-back. He is very hard to stop, and the catalyst to many a forward foray for the Falcons. The goal kickers for the Falcons, Hodges with 2, Rahui and Kristancic also added a brace. Ricky O'Loughlin, the chief destroyer for Brighton, with 2 goals himself. Okay, it was Paynham's second quarter where they kicked 4 goals, 5 to a point where they did all the damage. But it was interesting to note the commentators' notes that Brighton had all the play early, the first 5 scores of the game behind. Again, you look what Golden Grove did with the first 5 scores being goals. It's the difference between winning and losing. Let's have a look now at Joseph Kristancic for the Jag Meatworks snag of the day.
On the balcony, they probably are a bit warranted. Rahui now just launches it in nice and long from the back. Seagal was trying to enact the spoils. Now the hands there, Kristancic.
Oh yeah!
And he got absolutely banged, Kristancic, and the celebration too.
So this obviously changes the ladder formation. PNU moving into 3rd. Brighton now go to bottom. It's been a huge game. Let's have a look at some of the better players. For the Falcons, it was those named but weren't in the Player of the Year votes. Nunn, Rahui and Mac Haynes returns and gets in the best players. Well done to the big Mac Truck, 2019 Premiership player, all-round good guy. And for the Bombers, it was Ty Murphy, Higgins and Farquhar. But the votes go to 1 vote from Payneham, Jed Spence, 2 votes to that man from Brighton, Ricky O'Loughlin Johncock, and 3 votes to Brad McKenzie. A huge win to Payneham. They just keep on trucking. They're into 3rd. If they keep winning, they'll have the double chance, and look out the rest of the competition. For Brighton, they need to get a win or 2 in the last 2 rounds, or they will be relegated to Division 2. Our next game was one of those games you put in the calendar. It was the grand final rematch at Park 9. PAC visited by Glenunga. And you wouldn't have believed the result. Glenunga 19-18-132. PAC 6-6-42. A 90-point win or 15-goal smoking of the Reds. I can't remember the last time that's happened. Our player in focus, he just keeps getting better and better. Number 10, the Bear, Abe Davis. What a star. Goal kickers, it was Bo the Tip Rat Schwartz and Decky Fay with 3 apiece, but 10 different goal scorers. Again, that spread of Glenunga is just sublime. Whilst Ben Ionello kicked 3 for PAC and just the 3 goal scorers. That in itself tells a big story. So looking at the commentators' notes, it was all PAC. Josh Perks kicked the opening goal, and then it wasn't. All of a sudden, they kicked into gear. They did have some highlights, though, none better than the Ionello Jag Meatworks snag of the day.
So deliberate approach. Lovely left foot kick. Jeez, it's a tough kick for a left footer. That might be your snag of the day right there.
That's just about all the positives I've got for PAC in this one, unfortunately for the Reds, because it was the Rams by 15, 38, 53 and 90. They won all 4 quarters and they won them well. Glenunga are now 14-0. They're finishing top, and they will have a home final to try and get into a grand final and a second chance at Richmond Oval. I think they will be playing in the grand final. It's hard to imagine anything else happening for a team that just seems to get better week in, week out. Better players who didn't appear in the votes for PAC, Charlock and Macaulay, whilst for Glenunga, Zachy Smith down back, Tully Kennett and Decky Fay. Let's look at the votes and some familiar names here. Some really, really good footballers. Big Geordie West in ruck is controlling the ruck each week and giving him first use. 2 votes to Bo Schwartz, the tip rack. He's back, he's dangerous and he's good looking. And of course that man best on ground was Abania Davis, putting a real claim on back-to-back Player of the Year honours. All right, our next game, well, what a game it was in the end. It was a huge game with the ramifications of both finals. If Teachers Gully could get on a roll, they're playing the 5 bottom teams. They were a chance. If they didn't win it, though, it could all go wrong. And it was at Pertaringa, Teachers Gully 8-11-59, Spock 9-7-61. It was an amazing game. I'm going to give you some stats. I'm going to obviously talk about some best players. But what I want you to do is cue the tape and have a look at the last 15 seconds of this game and the kick by Johnny Reid after the siren to win the game for the Spockers and the ensuing celebrations.
Doesn't find Bedford's chest. It's going to beat him to the line. No, he's kept it in. He's got to kick it, got to get it forward. They do. It's a shot or a pass. Reid! Big mark, John Reid! He single-handedly kept them in Div 1 last year.
Needs a goal after the siren.
3 goals versus Gullies in round 5. This for the win! He's done it! Johnny Reid! Spock win!
And that is what football is all about. The agony on one side, the ecstasy on the other. Well done, Spockies. They just find a way. Goal kickers for Teacher Gully, Brody Latham kicked 4, which is a great effort, and Carruthers and Colley kicked 2 for Spockers. Looking at some of the notes on the game, the breeze went to the scoreboard end, as it often does at Teacher Gully, and it was Teacher Gully who kicked 1 goal 4 with it to 2 goals 1. So they were down by 3 points, and then 15 and a half. Then they came out and found their accuracy. They kicked 6 straight goals to take a 12-point lead at 3/4 time. At home, probably thought, yeah, maybe, just maybe. But in the final quarter, they had their chances again, but Teacher Gully kicked 1 goal 6 and Spock kicked 4 goals 2, the last of those coming after the siren. They now have a red-hot relegation battle amongst each other, and they need to keep winning games of footy or they will go down. Let's look at the best players for Teacher Gully. Penny and White gave their all, whilst for Spockies it was Belperio and Allen, and named best on ground at the club. I don't know how he hasn't got in the votes. It's an absolute travesty. It's a disgrace. The commentators should be sacked. The best player on the ground was Jordan Chuck Norris Lockwood, the big fella. Oh, the muscles. He's built from twisted steel with football appeal. Well done, Geordie Lockwood. When you're in the best, they win. 1 vote to Brody Latham in the Player of the Year. 4 goals out of 8 was outstanding. Tyler Martin, 2 votes, played a good role. And best on ground was Malachi Carruthers with his 2 goals for St. Peter's. A huge win for the Spockers. They are the cardiac kids. They find a way at the end of each year. I don't know, will lightning strike twice? Will they stay up? Time will tell. But every game they play in seems to be pretty exciting at the moment. We'd have a look at our final game of the round. It was Sacred Heart, at Sacred Heart, 10-12-72. Broadview, 7-6-48. Our player in focus is number 16, Radley Noble. Well done to Big Nobes. Now, this one played out as expected on paper, 24-point win, but Broadview, 8 points up at three-quarter time. Again, they've fallen over at three-quarter time and just haven't quite got the chocolates. For Sacred Heart, it was Kokuro with 4, and that man, Johnny Boris, bobbed up with a couple again, as he does every week. Broadview up by 8 points at three-quarter time in the final quarter. Sacred Heart, 5 goals, 4-0. As they do, good teams, they lift when they need to, and they found a way. What was interesting as well was 8 of the first 10 goals created lead changes. That's a really interesting stat, that one. So it was goal for goal all day, with Broadies just getting out, looking like they might, but Sacred Heart have now booked a home final. It's official, so they will play their first final at home. Whew, it's going to be an exciting final series for them. Broadies needed to close out the game, and they didn't. If they keep doing this, they could find themselves in the bottom 2. As we know, the competition is that tight, and their percentage probably isn't healthy enough to guarantee that they're safe yet. Better players for Broadview, Ethan Smith and Stephen Jackson. Whilst for Sacred Heart, it was Benuto and young Charlie Hildyard. Great to see him taking his football to the next level. And on to the votes. Kokuro with his 4 goals got 1 vote. That man was Sam Daniele, back from the Crows, which is great for Broadview, getting the 2 votes, while Noble best on ground with the 3. Look out, comp. We're still underestimating them, but shocker coming. Okay, normally now I would do Player of the Year votes, but they are suspended for the rest of the year. We're going to keep that a bit of a secret. I think we know roughly where they are, though. So on to the ladder. And now, as the ladder comes up, I can say, in my analysis, the top 5 is set. Some very unusual things would have to happen for it to change. Glenunga, obviously, top. Sacred Heart will finish second. PNU, Port Battle and Golden Grove, they're all still battling for the top 3. Who will close it out is anyone's guess. But Golden Grove on 7-7 with 50.3. It's essentially a 3-game lead with 4 games to go. They won't drop that. They will be there when the whips are cracking in September. Then we come back to the pack. Broadies and PAC both 5 and 9. But the alarming thing for them is their percentage, sitting at 44 and 42% respectively, is actually lower than the 8th and 9th place Tea Tree Gully and Spock. So as I alluded to a little earlier on, Spock might just come right up this ladder with a couple more wonderful performances like they've had. Be interesting to see how it plays out. These bottom 5 are all in a relegation battle and they don't want to go back to Div 2. This week will tell us a lot about what might happen regarding that relegation battle as we look at some of these games. The first one is Port versus Shock at Largs Bay. In round 6, it was Port by 9 goals. Logic suggests there's no reason to tip Port in this, but I'm going to take Port District to find a way at home. Sacred Heart must be sick of me tipping against them and doubting them. I'll tell you what, Shock, if you win this one, I just might become a believer. Brighton and Spock at Brighton. This is a huge game. Whilst it's 9th versus 10th, a win here to Spock could see them go as high as 6th. A loss could see them go bottom. And Spocky, I know a lot of you people don't like me. You're not going to like me now. I'm taking Brighton at home. Broadies versus PNU. At Broadies, same thing. Broadies must win, but I don't think they will. The Falcons just travelling along nicely and ticking all the boxes they need to tick. PAC and Tea Tree Gully at Park 9. This one certainly could go either way. Both teams must win. Both teams don't want to find themselves in the relegation zone, but they potentially could. I'll take PAC to bounce back from what must have been a one-off shocking display last week. And last but not least, you've got to call it game of the round. Glenunga and Golden Grove. Glenunga, all the rage. Golden Grove are the hunters. Can they find a way? No, because it's at Webb Oval. This has been TJ with the Division 1 report. It's getting exciting. I'll be back next week as we inch closer to finals.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
Well, it's time for the Division 1 Women's Wrap, where we look at all things women's footy across Division 1 and beyond. I'm Beck Northcott. Let's get straight into it because it is the final rounds. It's all happening. We're all building up to finals here. We don't wait until September like the boys. We're getting stuck into it right now. Now, Division 1, they had a bit of a split round over this week and next weekend, so there was just one match on the weekend, and let me tell you, a statement has been made. This was a 2v4 clash, Broadview and Henley, and Broadview have come in with an absolutely huge 50-point win. Broadview 8-10-58 have defeated Henley 1-2-8. And if we look back to round 7, this is a real flip in the results because Henley won in that round by 54 points. So what a turnaround by Broadview. And Broadview, they're really coming in hot at the right time, which is really the opposite of how they went last season, where they started off on top of the ladder and unfortunately dropped off into finals. So this season, they're peaking at the right time. They are looking good, and they managed to hold the Henley Sharks to just 1 point at halftime and held the Sharks to their lowest score for the year. Now, there are, of course, games to come next weekend, as I said, but this slots Broadview very nicely. Now, how did this all happen? Well, Broadview, goals galore. Zara Malloy, she's kicked 2. Liana Antonoli with a goal. Tamika Cox, Remy Grant, Dakota Kendall, Lucy Mussolino and Abby Player. Their best on was Ella Metcalf. And for Henley, well, it was a double to Ellie Fixter because she kicked their single goal and she was the best on ground. So all the heavy lifting at Henley being done by Ellie Fixter. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means a lot for Broadview because they're just hitting their straps right now. But 3rd and 4th are still very much up for grabs in Division 1 for the women. There are, of course, just 2 games to go next week, and both of them mean so much. It is absolutely going to come down to the last minutes of the last round, and that is what we love to see. Now, how are we looking? Well, Payneham, they're sitting top and they will probably stay there unless they lose a heap of percentage, which I think is unlikely. Now, I was actually down at Payneham on the weekend for the men's game and they had their ladies' day and it looked like it was an absolute belter of the day. When I walked into Payneham, I saw Macca on the barbecue as well, so don't tell me that guy doesn't do everything for that club. So ladies were absolutely flying on the weekend and I'm sure they will be on the field next weekend. Now, they're taking on the Goodwood Saints, which is a real top 4 clash as well because Goodwood Saints, they're wanting to hold on to 3rd spot on the ladder. So it is absolutely all happening. And then there is, of course, the game between Morphettville Park and Golden Grove. Golden Grove are still alive as well. So if they get the win, you know, different points, percentages, things happen. It is just all up for grabs, and that's what it's all about in women's footy. And I can't wait to get back here next week and see how it all plays out. Now, across the other divisions, things are wrapping up as well, and we're seeing what teams are going to be making it into finals. Just quickly, in Division 2 for Hectorville, Kaylee Whitaker, she's kicked 7 goals on the weekend in their win over Lockleys. That's absolutely huge. Now, looking towards finals, the top 4 is going to sit as follows. In 1st, Happy Valley, 2nd, Hectorville, 3rd, Hope Valley, and 4th, Tea Tree Gully. Now, these teams are going to have a week off and then crack into finals the week after. Division 3, well, they wrapped up last week and they are coming in hot for finals this coming weekend. Teams that are going to feature in the finals, Brighton, Eastern Park, Pulteney and Angle Vale. And those teams have been really competitive, so I'm looking forward to seeing how Division 3 ends up. Now, in Division 4, the teams that we're going to see heating up finals, Mitcham, Modbury, Woodville South and Scotch. Now, in Division 5, there is a lot going on as well, but it's very much the Athelston Raggies sitting on top of the ladder. And we have, of course, been following Natalie Lohman, who has been kicking absolute bags every week. Now, she has finished the season on 45 goals. So well done, Natalie. She kicked 4 on the weekend. She's doing well. So as I said, Athelston sitting at the top, 2nd Salisbury, 3rd Edwardstown, and 4 is Kilburn. Now, down in Division 6, we have got Marion, Houghton, Salisbury North and Ingle Farm. So all the finals coming up very soon. If you want to put these dates in your diary, 17th of August,
This is all in one day. So much women's footy. Division 3, Division 4, Division 5, Division 6, it's going to be huge. And then we'll back that up on the 24th of August with Division 1, 1 reserves, Division 2 and Division 2 reserves. I'm so excited, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned to the Adelaide Footy League live streams. There's so much women's footy to come and I cannot wait. I'm Beck Northcott. Come back here next time and check in for all your women's footy news.
Welcome back to Between the Posts, and it's time for our Farmers Elite Coach of the Week. It comes to us from Division 7 and has been nominated by Phil Herden, and it is from the Hackham Hawks, Blake Derra. A huge congratulations to Blake. He's taken Hackham, who last year finished bottom, and they are now on the cusp of not just a finals appearance, but a double chance. I first met Blake 10 years ago when he was coaching the Marion under-13s. It's been wonderful to see his development and what he's been able to do with a senior football club. You should be very proud of his efforts. He's taken them from easy beats to a team that is both strong defensively and scores consistently. It's a wonderful effort, and on behalf of Phil Hurd and myself in the Adelaide Footy League, congratulations, Blake Derra. You are our Coach of the Week. Back to Between the Posts, Division 7 wrap time with one of the great analysts of football, Tony Neill.
Thanks very much, Tommy. And Division 7, mate, there's 8 teams. And before I get started, there's a great little story around Division 7. So I'll let you explain a little bit more about that.
And it goes back to when we first were on, Tony, where I asked you what's happening. The games weren't scheduled at the start and we weren't sure. It's all come together and, like, you know, people are quick to criticise, but I want to give a shout out to the league. This is quite brilliant. In an 8-team league, they've found a way by using, I think they call them classification rounds or equalisation rounds. So everyone's played each other home and away in the first 14 rounds. Then there's 3 more rounds tacked on the end to make it a 17-round season. So the top 4 are playing each other and the bottom 4 are playing each other. What does that do? It means you're always in the game all the way up to round 17. It's quite brilliant. And I was worried about this league, Tony, because the north-south content, you've got 3 teams either on or just off Main North Road and Bridge Road, and all the others down south. But they have done a brilliant thing here, the league. They've kept everyone engaged, and if you look at the reserves, 7 of these 8 teams will be involved in finals. That should make your what you're going to say even more relevant, I think.
Well, we talk about the motto, the Adelaide Footy League, strengthening communities through football, and nothing better at Division 7. We take the chequebook out of it and we say players come along and they play for the fun and the enjoyment and so on, and fantastic. So let's have a look at the ladder prior to round 15, and we see first and second very close with O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale and Para Hills. Para Hills do have the better for and against, however, up until yesterday, O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale were undefeated. Have now got the 1 defeat. And then we go down, and Hackham were in 4th place, and Brahma Lodge were in 6th. Now the games played yesterday, OSB are still on top. Para Hills are second. Para Hills still have the higher score for and the lower against, but that one game extra there for O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale, they remain on top. Interesting now, Hackham have come up to 3rd place. So they've moved from 4th up to 3rd. And Brahma Lodge have moved from 6th up to 5th.
And they're going to play finals if they can maintain that position. It's unbelievable to think that.
Exactly right. And we look at Mawson Lakes. Mawson Lakes are in 6th but have the higher percentage. However, Brahma Lodge drew with Mitchell Park, which means they have the 1 extra point. So the teams down from last season, same as post round 6. Smithfield are in 8th still, but Brahma Lodge, as we said, have moved from 6 up to 5th because of that draw in round 4. That will affect the finishing positions. The reserves ladder, as you alluded to, up in the top 3, Para Hills and O'Sullivan's Beach as well. So they're very strong and they've got depth and competition for spots. We want to have a look at by the numbers. Last time I looked at winning quarters over a certain amount of games. Today we're going to look at the first and second half goals. So we go to OSB Lonsdale in the last 5 rounds. So their first half 6, their second half 11. They're up. The next game against Para Hills, they still won it, but they kicked 9 in the first half, 2 in the second. Against Brahma Lodge, 13-16, so good second half. Against Smithfield, 5-15, great second half. Yesterday, 6-5 against Para Hills. So we're looking at the form of our top 2 teams. We go to Para Hills last 5 rounds, 6-11, exactly the same as OSB Lonsdale in round 11. They played Hackam, Para Hills, 6-11. So very good second half. In round 12, they actually lost that game, but as we alluded to, they kicked more goals in their second half, OSB. 2-5. Yep. Then they had 2 rounds, 13 and 14, where they kicked less goals in the second half. It was only 14-13 against Smithfield. Mitchell Park, they had 19-goal first half and then just drifted away 10 goals in the second half. And yesterday, 6 and 8. So if we're looking at the form of the second half, and the reason I mention that, I talk about fitness in the second half and do teams start well or finish well. I think even though it's 3-2 for both, I would say that at the moment OSB Lonsdale have the bigger numbers in their second half. However, Para Hills are still up there. So it's an interesting one to look at what's happening with that second half goal scoring.
Yeah, interesting to note as well. Now, they've played 3 times already this year, and on the 3rd attempt, Para Hills were able to inflict the first defeat of O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale. So maybe they've found a way, and yeah, some good stats there.
So we look at our next 2 rounds, what happens next, and we see that 6th place Brahma Lodge plays 2 bottom teams. Well, Brahma Lodge are now in 5th place. Yep. So they play the 2 bottom teams. So if we go through, Brahma Lodge plays Smithfield and then they play Mitchell Park. So they're very well placed to hold on to their position.
Yep.
6th place Mawson Lakes. Well, they play Mitchell Park, but then in that last round, that's the big one. Is this for 5th position? That'll be the match of the round in round 17. And of course, the top 4 teams play each other. So as you said, a bit of quirkiness with that ladder. News around the division. So Para Hills, recent milestones. Congratulations on 250 games, David Splodge Minshaw. Do you know David as well?
Splodge Minshaw? Is that
Splodge is the obviously the nickname. I wouldn't suggest that.
Okay. I thought it was a hyphenated surname.
No,
Splodgy. Well done, Splodgy. Yep.
David has been a steadfast and invaluable member of our club, standing by through the highs and lows. And over the year, David has made many remarkable contributions to the club. So well done to you, David Splodge Minshaw. I say that respectfully. In Flinders Uni, recent milestones. Nick Howie recently racked up 200 club games since his first game in 2012. He's a long-time off-field servant of the committee, and this is what we see with so many of our community clubs. A regular in the B-grade leadership and a true club stalwart. Well done, Howie. And also, our favourite football friend, wait for this one, racked up 50 for Flinders Uni Footy Club, a former A-grade best and fairest winner. Scott has been a terrific player in just a short time at the club. So well done on our milestones.
Great stuff, gents.
Just going to finish off with our best player lists. Brendan Walczak at Mitchell Park. Wait for this. Played 15 games, best player 13.
Oh, he was going perfectly last time we were together. So
yeah, Luke Allen at Hackham, 15 for 10, and Jacob Doherty at Hackham, 15 and 10. So good sharing of the load there. Deacon Tifi has played 15 and been in the best player 10 times. So probably our medalist is going to come from somewhere in around that list.
Deacon Tifi's here at Brahma Lodge now? Is that? Is that where he is?
Sorry, Brahma Lodge.
Former Ingle farm boy, was at North Adelaide as a junior. Little fella, hard at it, great mullet. Good footballer to watch, Deacon Teef.
Oh, the mullet. That might bring in some...
Well, he may have shaved it off, but last time I saw him, he had the mullet. He'd only been 19 as well, so good footballer.
Cult following. The umpires might follow that. Yeah. And our goal scorers, what more can be said? We've seen the interview. Daniel Wheatra from Para Hills. Well, he's played 15 games, kicked 113. Outstanding. I'll tell you what, though, Trevor Rigney, 14 games, kicked 75 goals. So just the evergreen Trevor Rigney, we say now. Glenn Draper at Hackham,
doing
15 from 49. So it's interesting. Brahma Lodge, Mitchell Neverson, 15 games, 39 goals. I tell you the other ones I like. Duncan Brown, 15 games, 35 goals. Smithfield on the bottom of the ladder, but well done, Caleb Squires. Only played the 12 games and kicked 34 goals, so averaging around about 3 a game. So that's what's happening with Division 7, folks. There's plenty there. Lots happening on the socials. A couple of things we can't mention. There were some interesting things when we did all the research, but an outstanding division. Always a pleasure to represent Division 7 and getting out to the clubs and talking with the people.
Just 2 rounds to go in Division 7. Of course, they'll play their grand finals first, and we'll see 7 of the Division 7 teams featuring across the A and B grade in the finals. So a great division. Keep an eye on it. We'll be back with more Between the Posts. Welcome back to Between the Posts. It's your favourite segment. It's time for the goals and marks of the week.
Looking to grab it out of the ruck where he can. Left foot snapper, slices, deals, inside out, beautiful snap. There could be a snag of the day contender there.
He single-handedly kept them in Div 1 last year.
Needs a goal after the siren.
3 goals versus Gullies in round 5. This for the win! He's done it! Johnny Reid!
Stack of numbers. Oh, the one-hander, a little bit of Yanko, mark of the week contender there by Faye.
Goes long, anyone's ball. Latham with the fly! Big mark!
Welcome back to Between the Posts, and it's time for What Caught Our Eye. Whew, Tony, that was sharp. Okay, this week, Tony, in What Caught Our Eye, my theme is relegation. I've been getting onto these themes for a few weeks, so I'm looking at the relegation game, the most effective relegation. Very interested to see what you've got, and we'll get there as a success. So I'll just go first. How's that sound?
Fantastic.
Division 1, there was a massive relegation game. It was Teacher Gully in 8th taking on Spock in 10th. It was at Pertaringa, and if you've watched the Division 1 report, you've already seen it, but it was a goal after the siren, thanks to Johnny Reid, that got Spock the chocolates and got them off the bottom of the ladder and perhaps entertaining a chance at a run up to as high as 6th or 7th. Congratulations to the Spockers.
Yeah, I had the same, Tommy. 2 points, 16 scoring shots to 19. Interesting. So they got over the line with 3 less scoring shots. They kicked 4-2 to 1-6 in the last quarter. So congratulations to St Peters there.
Yeah, bad kicking's bad football, and they kicked themselves out the game, Gully. So, all right. Now in Division 2, I had the bottom 4 playing each other, which is really interesting. 9th place Foss with a 24-point win over winless Edwardstown. And the other game was 8th place Old Iggy taking on 7th place Uni. This is an important one. And it was actually Old Iggy's getting the upset win, 17-8, 110. The Uni boys just 8 goals, 7. Brad Jones was best for Iggy's, and they had 11 goal scorers, so good spread there.
Yeah, same. I had Foss with a win.
Yep.
Adelaide Uni had a loss, and Old Iggy's had a win. The interesting thing now, 3 teams are caught on 10 points.
Yeah, Uni, Iggy's and Foss, a real interesting battle. Yeah, lovely. You go first in Division 3, mate, because...
Well, Seaton Ramblers, their new rooms are all open, and I'm going to get down there during the week or next week or two, have an interview. And I've been down there once already and had a bit of a look around. We had a bit of a technical malfunction, so it was great to meet the people and have a look around. I had the official opening yesterday with the council, I believe. So it'd be great to get down to Seaton Ramblers and have a look at what's going on down there.
Okay, now when you're down there, of course, Paul Marshall will be there. If he's still playing, tell him, it's time, Paul, it's time. What a star of a man he is. Mine was, of course, the relegation battle between Smosh, winless Smosh. They had their chance here at Smosh, taking on 9th place CBC, who have only had 1.5 wins, and it was Smosh, 5 straight goals, CBC 14-12-96. Jake Strange was the man that did the damage, and they now sit 1.5 games behind Scotch, with just the faintest of hopes for CBC of avoiding relegation. Div 4, Tony, you can go.
Yeah, well, Hectorville in 5th place defeated Kilburn in 3rd. Hectorville, of course, coming into 5th place now. Hectorville have won their last 3 games, so they're on a bit of a roll coming into the finals. They're 1 point ahead of Kenilworth due to Hectorville having the draw. And they play Morphy Park, who are in 4th position. Then they play Walkerville 7th, both of those games at home. But then they've got Westminster, who's in 2nd place away. However, Kenilworth, who are 1 spot down from them, play 3rd place Kilburn at home, 2nd place Westminster at home, and 4th place Morphy Park away. So I'm tipping that Hectorville are going to hang on to that 5th position now.
It's going to be an intriguing battle to see who can make finals in Division 4. So again, I'm looking at the bottom of the ladder, and the weekend's games weren't that significant, but looking at the bottom of the ladder, the battle is between 2 local rivals, Jeps Cross and Paraka. They're both on 3 wins. In the final few games, they both play Gazer, which, with no disrespect to the Mighty Eagles, will be a win. So it all comes down to this. It's round 16, Jeps Cross and Paraka. It is the relegation battle. Both of these teams, will it be Jeps or will it be Paraka next week? I think Jeps avoid relegation.
Fantastic, Tommy. I think very quickly, when we cover every division gives us something. There's a different story, and it's fantastic, the Adelaide Footy League, and the way it's now rolling into the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's exciting, Tommy.
Every club has 100 people and 1,000 stories, Tony. It is great. Div 5, mate.
Yeah, Marion kicked 24 goals 8, so they were very accurate to defeat Blackfriars 4 goals 6. So I love the accuracy there. They kicked 7 goals in their first half. They then had an 11-goal third quarter, if you don't mind. Oh. And they had as I said, 7-goal first half, 17-goal second half. So fantastic form for Marion.
Yeah, the Rams on fire there. And my dad always told me, mate, you can't put lipstick on a pig. And if you do try, it'll go, wee, wee. It's very hard to do. So Div 5 is pretty simple looking at the ladder. West Croydon and Blackfriars will be relegated. That is what it is. But they play each other in round 17. It's a chance for West Croydon to get their first win at home at the Fork Reserve. And, of course, for Blackfriars to get their second win. So a couple of weeks away from one of those 2 teams getting some success that they richly deserve. Division 6, I'll just pull it back in a bit now, mate.
Yeah, Josh Rosenthal from Fitzroy, he got his 100th. He was on 99. He kicked... They did lose. He's now on 102. He kicked 3 of the 7 goals. And interesting, we've had 3 Centurions over the last 3 weeks. So congratulations, Josh Rosenthal there.
Yeah, no, fantastic done. And as with all Centurions, there'll be a separate story done on Josh on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page and all over our socials. And mate, what a wonderful accomplishment for the young man in a team that isn't first or second, but fifth. All right. Well, where do you go in Division 6? what catches your eye? This should catch Australia's eye because that team that lost by 516 points have got the chockies. You Elizabeth Eagles, you. Congratulations, boys. You stuck at it all year. I can't give you enough praise. Again, I've had a lot to do. My first senior A grade game was against Elizabeth. It's a great club, and for them to have a win, obviously it's at someone's expense, which isn't ideal, but it was Century United, 9 goals 5. Elizabeth, 14 goals 7. Stephen James kicking 5. Aaron Stevenson kicking 4. What a win to the Eagles. If nothing else happens for the year, they're probably still partying now like it's 1999.
Tommy, I've played in 2 seasons where we didn't win a game back in the day, and to win one game would be sensational. I can guarantee you that would be like a grand final win. They'll still be celebrating now all week till next Saturday.
And you know what? They weren't just getting beaten early in the year, they were getting humiliated. So the turnaround that they've created, you couldn't begrudge them the win, could you?
Great story.
Century United maybe do, but the rest of the league, we're happy for you. Congratulations, you Eagles. Division 7, mate.
Right. So 2 weeks running, 4 teams played each other. So first of all, stay with us here. Brahma Lodge played Mawson Lakes. In round 14, Mawson Lakes won by 14 points. Yesterday, Brahma Lodge won 14 points, 102 to 88. So very quirky there, the 2 weeks in a row. And then Hackham played Flinders Uni, and in round 14, Hackham won by 59 points, 102 to 43. And 2 weeks in a row, you're playing the same team. So how you set up and whether you travel or not and so on. So a little bit quirky with that draw, as we said.
It is. And Brahma Lodge getting the chocolates, as you said, over Mawson Lakes, making the very tough 3.5-minute drive down Main North Road. So
wouldn't be much of a trip, Wouldn't stop for a coldie.
You couldn't even stop for a 6-pack at the Brahma Lodge Hotel. And my Div 7 was the battle of, let's be honest, it's the battle for the spoon. It was Smithies taking on Mitchell Park. And Mitchell Park got the chocolates. Smithies 10-11, Mitchell Park 22-14. Finn and Curly both kicked 5 for the Lions, so congratulations to them. They'll be celebrating a good win. Mate, that was absolutely brilliant, that edition of What Caught Our Eye. No more things for me next week. I'll be going back to just the random stuff because it's getting very close to finals. It's getting very exciting. Stay with us. We'll be back with more Between the Posts. And back for Between the Posts, the final word, sponsored by SAPOL, South Australian Police Department. And Tony, first one, before I get to you, is I want to thank our great sponsors. We don't exist without them, including Programs to Fit, one of my favourites. But have you had some fun today?
Tommy, absolutely sensational to come down here and mingle with yourself and the crowd in front of us. We've had some fun off camera and on camera. But as we just mentioned, Tommy, the Adelaide Footy League, it's so great to cover a lot of the clubs. We're not just talking now about the top clubs in each division. Yep. We cover so many other clubs. So fantastic. We've got a lot coming up. But just before we get to that, Tommy, I know for the folks out there, you are outstanding with your commentary. I've learned a lot from you in commentary.
Thank you, mate.
And I really do thank yourself, and Phil Herden's been very helpful as well.
Yeah, Phil's great.
With many things, and he's helped us with the Coach of the Week. But you'll be coming back in round 18, mate. So
I am back. I know where I am. It's Port and Spock as well, so can't wait to see that super unit. And I'll tell you, I'm getting excited already. Spock, their late season form last year got them out the zone. Could they do it? Could Lightning strike twice? I reckon that's going to be a bloody good game.
Yeah.
So,
fantastic.
And then, of course, oh, mate, great to be back. And then the finals, I'll be there for the Div 1 finals, chomping at the bit. You said no questions without notice, but I don't care, Tony. I'm going to ask it. Give me your grand final Division 1 prediction. It's tough. It's harder to pick than a broken nose.
Gee, well, Glenunga.
Glenunga will be one.
Yep.
Glenunga will be there. Who are they going to play, though?
Well, oh boy, take me through. Is it
Sacred Heart, Port District, Golden Grove, or Paynham?
Yeah, Port District. Oh, look, my dark horse might actually be Paynham. I spoke with Jeremy at the start of the year, and we had a good discussion off and on camera, and he said, we're in it to have a really good dip. We're not just filling places, and I think they're going to set themselves, to be honest. Sacred Heart, there's a couple of little question marks, but they're going very well, of course. Golden Grove, they had that little bit of a slump through the middle of the season at times. So I'm not convinced with Golden Grove just yet, with all due respect. So I think Paynham, you often see teams in that lower part of the 5 get up, and I reckon they might be a dark horse to get up at least and push Glenunga.
Very, very interesting indeed. They are currently in third. If they maintain that and get the double chance, anything can happen. At this stage, I'm not going to change from my tip, which is Glenunga and Port District, but I'm just starting to soften on it as Port District. They'll need the double chance. They need to get it back. But, mate, always great analytics. Again, Div 7 flying. Thanks for watching Between the Posts. We'll be back again next week.